In time-based media such as motion pictures, a specific emotion or narrative can be achieved through composition with a number of different techniques. Closely related to proportion, the golden ratio is often used to achieve a well-balanced composition. It is widely used even today in motion pictures, especially in its simplified version, the rule of thirds. The goal of the rule of thirds is to stop the subject and areas of interest, such as the horizon, from bisecting the image. This can be achieved by placing subjects near the lines that divide the image into 3 equal columns and rows, ideally near one of 4 intersections of those lines. This frame from 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968, is a good example of the use of the golden triangle in a movie. It is also a great example of a flawlessly symmetric composition. Shapes on the right side perfectly offset those on the left side of the image. The golden triangle uses an imaginary diagonal from corner to corner and then lines from the other 2 corners at right angles, creating 2 identical triangles with focal points at the intersections of those 3 lines. This will draw the viewer's attention to any object that is positioned at any of those focal points. This frame from Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 1994, shows the rule of thirds at play, with 2 characters right at the intersection points, while a 3rd character is positioned in the center diagonal. Movie directors use the rule of space, a derivative of the rule of thirds, when they want to apply the illusion of open space in front of a character. The widely used shot reverse technique implements it too, in order to achieve balanced and comfortable dialogue scenes. In filmography, this is called lead room, nose room, or looking space. In short, lead room is done by leaving ample screen space where a character is looking at. And what if the opposite were to happen? What if a character was looking out of frame with ample room behind his back? This is called short-sighting and creates a sense of isolation, the idea that the character has nowhere to run. In this frame from Punch Drunk Love, 2002, Paul Thomas Anderson uses short-sighting, creating imbalance and visual tension. One way to give emphasis to a certain element is to put everything else out of focus, also called limiting focus. This means that everything in your picture will be blurred except the element or elements you want to emphasize. One advantage of using this technique is that it helps the viewer understand what is the subject. Another way to give emphasis is to incorporate contrast either through light and shadow or color. In this frame from George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road, 2015, we can see the use of complementary colors blue and orange. In color theory, complementary colors create contrast when juxtaposed in the same composition. Another technique that can create interesting compositions is the frame within a frame. Movie directors can make their pictures more visually compelling by showing viewers what they wish for them to look at in unusual and creative ways. The frame within a frame in this famous movie by Mike Nichols titled The Graduate, 1967, is a good example of that. Shape blocking is another effective way to give emphasis to certain elements, as well as to create converging eye lines. Triangles are often used to illustrate strength and power dynamics, suggesting a hierarchy, such as in this frame from In Cold Blood, 1967, by Richard Brooks. Leading lines, on the other hand, are used to draw the eyes of the viewer to a point of interest. Horizontal lines mean strength, whereas vertical lines usually suggest calm, and circular lines can be used to close or open paths for the viewer's eyes. Diagonal lines are often considered more interesting than vertical or horizontal lines. If used correctly, diagonals can express movement or imbalance in a picture. Diagonal lines can also add a sense of depth to the image. In a symmetrical composition, both sides of an artwork are identical or very similar. They are visually pleasing and create a sense of balance. If you cut an image in half, both sides are almost alike. Shapes on both sides offset each other. Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom, 2012, is a great example of an almost perfectly symmetrical composition. Conversely, in an asymmetrical composition, each side of an image is different from each other. Asymmetrical compositions are usually imbalanced and create visual tension.